Hello and welcome to another edition of Abhigyan's Point. And I'm in Britain, I'm in England, and one of the key questions that have been hovering around here for a long time now is around the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and naturally so, because you're closest to there. Europe is very hugely affected by this Ukraine-Russia crisis. So being in England, it's impossible not to discuss Rishi Sunak, and this particular episode I'm dedicating it to him because, as I said last time when I was here, so much of talk was there about Rishi Sunak might become the Prime Minister of England, and now he is. So naturally the questions change, and it happens everywhere. So Rishi Sunak is no exception. When the leader takes over, then the questions change from what is expected of him and what is he delivering actually. And we have in the Oxford Business College and some very intelligent people around me from the academics, and some who want to give full-fledged opinion, some who want to give half-fledged opinion, but that doesn't matter at all. What's important is to know. That's Diana. Diana, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name's Diana. I'm here at Oxford Business College as Head of Student Services and was lecturing for 2 years.
Okay, so she's been in student services and she's been lecturing. Just a straight question to you. What difference, in your view, Sunak's arrival as Prime Minister has made to England?
I think that Sunak's arrival was welcomed because he was the first Indian Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, which means that we are a country that embraces diversity and so on. But of course, when a country is facing any kind of economic crisis, the first
which it does,
is obviously the Prime Minister. And I also think that politicians sometimes are puppets of the actual country and whatever ideas they have.
Yeah, but my question, Aaron, was what difference has he made? Because there's a lot of expectation with which he was brought in, and there was a lot of internal turmoil within his own party. Very controversial. I remember following that in the news last time when I was here in England. What difference has it made?
Well, I think it was very important for him to do something drastic in order to gain public opinion. So the first thing he did, of course, was reduce the taxes, and he cut some
to get the public opinion on his side.
Of course, to get public, to get the public to like him. Because politically speaking, England, I think, is at a crossroads. I think that it doesn't know whether it wants to be right wing, left wing. It just really doesn't know where it wants to go because it's tried both parties.
Very interesting.
Failed both times. And I think at the moment they're just grabbing at straws. And I think that now, for example, anything that goes wrong with the country, it will be his fault. Anything that goes well with the country, it will also be due to him. So I think at the moment it is completely unstable. So
the first point Diane has made is very important, that Rishi Sunak came in and made sure, by lowering of taxes in some way or the other, that there is a larger public opinion in his favor. And let me just go on to two more gentlemen here. Just introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm Simone. I'm a part of the Oxford team, Oxford Business Incubation Center.
Okay. And you, sir?
Hi, I'm Mick. I'm also part of the Business Incubation Centre.
And you, Dan?
I'm Bri. I'm also part of the Oxford Incubation Centre.
Okay. Let's start from you. The same question. Would you feel, what's the difference he's made so far? She's very correct in saying one thing is that he's trying to quickly mold the public opinion in his favor, because anything that goes wrong is also attached to him, and anything that goes right is also attached to him.
Well, I believe this is quite a difficult question for me because I just moved to UK last year.
Okay.
And so I'm not that familiar with what's going on in UK. But what I can say is the Prime Minister is doing his very best to help the country, and in such difficult times because of the COVID and all those economic difficulties. And it's not easy, and we have been so kind to embrace the immigrants from all outside UK,
Right.
from all directions, and we spend such a large, huge sum of money to help them
Right.
to have a new life in UK. I think that's great, from my opinion.
Economy, the crucial question as far as England is concerned. The global economics is not really, helping anybody. You've got a whole Ukraine-Russia war situation. He's seen as an economist. His fame came from the fact that he handled the COVID situation economically quite well and made sure even those who were not earning were not left behind and they still got money in their household, in their pockets. How is he handling the economy?
I think the biggest issue he had was inflation. And obviously one of the goals that the government publicly stated is that they wanted to halve inflation year, which they managed to do. Now it was painful through putting up interest rates, but they have halved inflation this year. So and he's achieved that ahead of time. So personally, I'm a good job.
But that you feel is very easy because it's very difficult in countries like Britain, for example. Every solution is not hiking the interest rate to bring down inflation. So there is a certain burden that will come on the common man. And is that burden justified, or do you think that's good for a long-term situation?
Well, I think obviously the previous Prime Minister made a mistake, and what he was able to do very quickly was to start to address that. Inflation was getting out of control. People were starting to feel it. And although we had to take some short-term pain to halve the inflation rate, we've done it in a quick period of time, so that pain is felt a lot less by people.
Okay. What's your view?
Well, my view is he's come in at a time where he's shown that he can reduce taxes, which is a great positive. Obviously, there's been a financial crisis in the, whether someone wants to actually say that there has been a financial crisis, we are in one. And obviously the burden of, cost of living has gone up. So for myself, I think, every Prime Minister that comes in, there's always something that hinders them from what they can do. And I think he's done a great job so far supporting not only the nation, but what he's done so far in, lowering taxes.
Okay. Now, one question I'd like to ask you. Fiscal management, as we all know, is very tricky. Okay, because one side loves lowering of the taxes, and the Prime Minister's tensions also go up because when you lower the taxes, in other words, you're also lowering the revenue to the government. And how do you then balance it out? How do you, it's like giving out subsidies and then not knowing where to pay the bill from. So, is it a high-risk decision, or is it something that Rishi Sunak can sail through with? There are resources within Britain of earning enough so that the taxes that he's lessened can be compensated by money coming from somewhere else. Tricky, I know.
Yeah, it's very tricky. I mean, he has the power to do it. Whether he wants to do it, I don't know.
Okay.
And he has the resources as well. And the problem is that I think it's what one of my colleagues had said, that I think that his own party is quite divided. So he may come up with some suggestions and the others may not agree. So I think it's very tricky for him, to make the ultimate decision.
Okay. Just one thing. Everywhere worldwide in politics I've seen in India, in America, populist decisions do work for a politician, but not necessarily work for the people. And at the end of the day, what the people don't realize, I keep telling this in most of my lectures, is that don't be happy with lowering of taxes or whatever these things, because this could be temporary. In some way or the other, direct or indirect way, it's going to come back to you only. Is that a wise decision then?
I think only time will tell.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say whether it's a wise decision now. As you know, economics is a very, very complex thing.
Yeah.
And we won't know the answer to that until a few years down the line. I do agree with you. Making short-term decisions that are popular with a general election coming up might not be the best decision for the British public.
That's very interesting to know from all of you. Thank you so much for this little chat, but this was very important because it brings back to the same point which I discuss often in my programs when we talk about political economy of different countries or even India for that matter. You got to understand that when you make short-term populist decisions, somebody has to pay the bill for that. And that somebody is the common man in some way or the other. It might not be direct all the time. And that is a very important challenge for everyone. So Rishi Sunak's election also next year, as you said, is going to be a channel. And as she pointed out very correctly and very accurately, there is division within his party on various decision making, and that is primarily linked to the economic decision making of the country, because the country is going through an economic crisis and an economic problem. So that is very important. So the last line, Rishi Sunak has taken over, but his challenges are not yet over to ensure him a second term in this country. This is Abhigyan Prakash signing off for Abhigyan's Point with me on my YouTube channel.